conversations with other people that, are
Who have done
already
it,
there.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So what can we do to help them assimilate, Dr. Jerry?
So I want to use the concept of group psychotherapy. So I thought it was quite applicable.
Okay.
So going into an organization, it's like a group. So we want to use group dynamics. So one of the things that we want to do is to be curious. So we always talk about like communicate, and we know about the language barriers, we know about the cultural differences. So we can communicate. Why do we want to communicate, right? The reason behind that is because we want to search for similarities. So when we come together as a group, it's very nice when we can share something together. What divides us is you're different and I'm different, and we only look at the differences. So when we want someone to come into that space, we need to look for similarities.
It's that unison together.
Yes.
That bridging.
Yes.
Or the commonalities.
Yeah.
that we
Yeah.
have.
It could be the type of food you like. It could be the music. It could
Exactly.
be movies,
First thing-
anything.
First thing in my head,
Music,
food.
food, yeah. Because I mean, Singapore.
Everyone's got to eat too,
It's actually
right?
very interesting. This topic's very interesting. One of the shows that I'm doing outside now, performing in schools, right? It's actually on this very topic as well, about how people who are doing, who are migrating to different places, for example, Singaporeans to maybe Australia or something, and facing those challenges, just like how, and this same character is facing the challenge that other foreign workers come to Singapore as well. So is having that understanding of the challenge that, I wasn't very nice, or I was learning about this, and then at the end of the day, everyone learning to be more understanding, more
Open-minded.
and basically
Compassionate.
just more embracing towards each other at the end of the day.
And
Yeah.
communicating that.
Yeah,
Because I
absolutely.
think it gets lost in translation sometimes too.
For sure.
You don't want to speak up. I'm sure all of us have been on the end where we're like kind of the minority, whether
Yeah.
it be because we're new
Or as a
'cause we're
tourist,
different.
even, yeah.
And you're too afraid to like speak up.
Yeah.
Right,
and-
right.
And I can imagine, I mean, not just the workers in the construction industry and the bankers and stuff like that. There are also lots of students that come in without families.
Absolutely.
And all they have is their own little community of classmates and no one outside of that, only because they hang out with them, right?
I have the cutest story about that, actually.
Do you?
So there was this this young boy that my mom met that would always be at the same bus stop where we live. So I guess he would wait for the train, and then I guess they were waiting for the bus to go to school and go
Yeah.
to work. And so every morning they'd see each other, and then my mom started striking up a conversation with him. And this is this boy from Wuhan. Actually, we'd never heard of Wuhan until
COVID.
until but my mom had, and she didn't even connect the dots. But they ended up becoming, good friends.
Oh,
And then
nice.
my mom, she would invite him over for like Easter or like Christmas, and because he had no family here. And even up till now, he still sends us like cards.
Oh,
That's
that's
so
very
sweet.
sweet. That's very
Yeah.
sweet. Okay, let's continue the conversation on air. We'll go to traffic first.
It's nothing even sexy. I can over now. Feel it still. Not I had your fill. Feel it still.
Kiss 92 traffic.
PIE towards Changi Airport is a vehicle breakdown after BKE. Also SLE towards CTE. Heavy traffic between Woodlands Avenue 2 exit and Mandai Avenue exit. PIE towards Tuas, there's heavy traffic after at Clementi Avenue 6 exit. BKE towards PIE. Vehicle breakdown after Dairy Farm Road exit. Please drive safe.
And if you think your ears are playing tricks on you, no. And that was Sean Rick Hu doing the traffic. And we have Daphne Koo here with us this morning. Also Angel of The Big Show. And we have Dr. Jerry from the therapy room. I know the names may not seem familiar, but the show is still the same. And we're still bringing you the same content that you're used to. And it is Therapy Tuesday with Dr. Jerry. And today we're talking about strangers in our familiar environment. I think that's a good way to put it, because you could be anywhere, like in an office, you could be at school,
Yeah.
you could be moving overseas and be that stranger.
stranger.
Be the
Yeah,
stranger.
absolutely.
So we're talking about how we can perhaps help assimilate new people
Yeah.
that we meet from foreign countries. And Daphne had a really great story about her mom and a young boy at a bus stop. I know it sounds not, maybe that's not the perfect. That's not the perfect description.
No,
but
but
tell us.
if you meet my mom, you'll know she's like the nicest, like
I'm
fairy
sure.
godmother type. You
Okay.
know,
Aw.
she's like she had cancer maybe like 20 years ago, and she's always supporting other people that she's always just like, oh, you have a friend, yeah, send them my way, I'll be their support.
Oh,
and,
sweet.
and
Shout out
she's
to Mama
amazing.
Koo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
shout out to mom. Big love to Mama Koo. But I guess they met at a bus stop because I guess he takes the bus to school the same time as my mom takes the bus to work.
Right.
And because they see each other every morning, I guess they started striking up a conversation. And she's like, oh, you go to school around here? You knew? And it turns out he was this kid from Wuhan that didn't have any family here. He was just here on his own. And my mom was like, oh, well, I have 3 girls, and like most of them are gone university and what have you. So my house is very empty, and I'm sure my husband would appreciate like having kids in the house again. So if you ever want to come over for like Thanksgiving or any kind of like Chinese New Year, that kind
that's
of
so
thing.
nice.
So he would come over, and then we also met him. We were like, who's this boy? I was like, oh, he's by himself, in Singapore. So we invited him for Chinese New Year for dinner
For
and stuff.
occasions,
And
yeah.
so and now I think he's back in Wuhan, like working and stuff. But he still sends us cards like all the time.
That's a really sweet story. But not everyone strikes up a conversation like Daphne's mom.
True,
I mean,
true,
in
true.
what way can we help? And then because they were doing it, they were meeting every day, they had that opportunity
yeah.
to kind of smile one day, start a conversation the next day. Sometimes we don't. Sometimes we meet one person only at that moment in time. How can we help, Dr. Jerry, in that sense?
Oh, I don't think we meet that person only one moment in time if it is our colleague, right?
if
We
it's
will
colleagues, no,
meet
yeah.
them-
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, we will meet them in the office. We'll meet them in the same space, and definitely just the second point, which is creating that other primary family group, because you know how we play, mother, father, children in primary school, and Sean-Rick is like frowning. You've never played that in primary school?
Oh,
Did
no,
show
I just
my
saw.
age?
I just saw something completely unrelated, but no, I did not play a lot when I was a child. No, I'm just kidding.
Wait, do you have siblings?
Yes, I have one younger sibling,
A boy or a girl?
brother.
Okay, no wonder lah.
Okay.
Why did I
Girls
answer-
confirm make
why
you
did
play
I answer
house
you
one.
sibling? I could have just said
Yeah,
brother.
All good. Yeah.
Okay, Dr. Jerry,
Yeah,
you're
that's
saying?
true.
Family group, creating that family group. The concept of family group is really just welcoming someone into your space and treating the other person like how you would like your brother or sister to be treated,
Right.
So welcoming them into your space. So that's the second one. And when you meet a new person, just exchanging information would be very, very useful.
Just
so
straight
more
away, here's
often
my
than not.
Instagram, is it? Or-
Instagram, I think, is a very safe way to communicate.
I mean,
though.
save it up.
Oh yeah.
nope.
So this generation, I suppose imparting information is also, the other person. So the foreigner wanting, being asked a lot of questions. We forget
getting to know the
share
person.
about ourselves.
But it's interesting. It's interesting that the millennials and Gen Z has said, "Here's my Instagram." We'll talk about that on the Big Show TV. Join us on YouTube.com/Kiss92FM. The time right now is approaching 8:15.
Kiss 92 Time Check brought to you by Putian. Introducing Putian.
Interesting.
But it is interesting that they brought that up because now on Instagram, I mean, besides just sending messages, you can also video call.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
and Instagram, social
Is it weird that
media,
you can't just regular call on Instagram? It has to be a video
call. But you can also sort of stalk the person's page and find out a lot about them so that you can find commonalities. I mean, that is the new way
Or
of
find out
opening up
if
my
they're-
phone, my photo book.
Yeah.
You know, you coming over to my house, I open up my photo book.
Oh,
This is my
yeah.
life.
Technically, it's kind of like Instagram.
It's like that,
But
right?
I feel like that's a very innocent way of looking at Instagram. I don't know. I was just watching this show where this girl starts to like screenshot different accounts and then create a fake
Oh,
account.
and tons of
It
people do
depends on
that.
how you use the tool, I guess. you know?
Yeah.
But like
That
going to
scene
your,
just got me real
going to Dr. Jerry's point, what you said about the whole family union part.
Second
that was
family.
Yeah, having like a second family. That literally happened when I used to work at the theme park, and there was the Filipino community there. Wonderful, absolutely
sure.
wonderful.
Chosen family.
Every morning, good morning, kuya, good morning, ate. Just that general. Even if you don't know the person, and you just say good morning, it brightens up their day. There's a smile, just having that pep in your step, and then the family community of like eating together, going to do a show together, and coming back. Oh, that was a lot of fun. Having these fun moments, whatever your workspace is, but just building that bond is just really, really nice.
I love the Filipinos. I mean, they've got such great family community. I mean,
Yes.
before you know it, you're like their godfather to their child or something like that. Because they're very trusting and they're very open.
Very.
And they welcome a
very
lot of
loving.
people into their space, which is a lot that we can learn from.
You know, they really love you. They start bringing you their own home cooked food.
Yes, food is
Like
always
they were like,
food, right?
like Kuya Shan, you have tried this before. Come. My grandmother.
You must eat.
You must eat. I'm like, I just came out the canteen. No, you eat.
It's a bit like Chinese, right? Like
A
that's
bit,
how you
yeah.
show love. But I think Chinese is more territorial to like your family
You
kind of
earn
thing.
you earn my meal first.
yeah, or something like that. But to your point, I think a great way to start a conversation or even just open up that safe space is to just say good morning, good
Yeah.
afternoon,
Smile.
smile,
In
yeah.
the lift.
Yeah.
I've tried the smiling thing in Singapore. It's not always reciprocated.
No, it's
True,
not. But I
very
always
true.
say you don't do something to expect something back.
yeah, for
You know
sure.
what I mean? Because if we do that, then we get disappointed, right? That we don't receive a smile. But Dr. Jerry, how else can we, be
Open-
welcoming?
Well, so not just be welcoming, but also thinking of a group, right? What is a group for? A group is for catharsis. Catharsis, what does it mean in psychological terms? Is to share your emotions. So when Daphne was talking about the smile, or when Shanrik was sharing about the Filipino little family there,
Yeah.
it just puts a smile on your face.
Yep.
But I'm sure we don't only share good moments. We also share difficult moments. when you cry or when you need someone to lean in or into. You know that they are there for you. You use the word trust. In order to trust, that is also, a part of the emotions. So creating that space for us so that we can emote safely.
It must be so hard for someone in a new country or a new company, a new school, to be to try and find someone, because as you said, it's easy to have the laughs, but someone to cry along with
It's
and have a
just-
safe space.
Just exactly having that safe space wherever it is, like ideally if you have somebody new in the workspace as well.
Yeah, because you spend so much time at work or at school,
And to be fair, I mean, like, I think the onus is also on the individual. Because for a long time, I was like, whenever I traveled and I would keep going to new cities and stuff, I didn't want a new friend group. I didn't want, because there was one place, I mean, the first place that I traveled to, I got a bunch of really good friends, and I left and never heard from them.
Oh.
And it's not really, I don't necessarily blame them, but it was one of those things where distance is hard,
No,
and
I
then I was in
understand
a
that, yeah.
different time zone
Right.
and all that. So it just didn't end up computing. And so I decided to just close myself off. Even if people like would text me, I would not reply. I'd just be like, I don't want to get too close. I just want to do my thing here. And I was very clear in the objective of like my career trajectory. But then, as I moved on in life, or as I got older, I realized the value of having this chosen family, not just my family, but the family that understands your pain
Outside of family,
well, your day to day, because
Yeah.
I'm not gonna, I'm very close to my mom, but I'm not gonna call her every day. Actually,
Yeah.
I do call her every day, but I'm not gonna tell her everything,
But I'm sure, Dr. Jerry, there are some people that don't want to make friends. Like Daphne was just
Exactly.
saying, they want to keep closed
Sure.
off. How can you?
Sure.
What do we do?
What
Do we just
we
leave them
do,
alone?
Right? No, I don't think we should leave them alone. I think even for Daphne, you would appreciate someone just checking in with you and say, "Hey, how are you doing?
Yeah.
How's it going? Is anything difficult? Do you need any help?" So just simple questions like that would definitely help, because these provide little markers or little guides for them that they are doing okay, or to check in with themselves also, and to let them know that the door is always open should they need to reach out. So
Right.
even if someone closes the door, we do not need to close our door. It's not tit for tat.
I love that. I think that's actually what broke me down. That was like someone that just consistently kept checking in on
in on
me.
you.
And I was like, wow, there are people out there that care about me, that maybe if I leave, this person has enough resilience that won't
Really,
just leave
really
me in the
making
dust.
that safe space for you.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And I think that's really, that was a great shout, because I think that's what made the difference for me.
Yeah, that is really nice to do. Yeah.
Yeah, and the last one is giving hope, right? Because a lot of them, there's a lot of uncertainty, a lot of insecurities. They can be very skilled. They can come with all their accolades and degrees, but coming into a different culture, a different space, can also create a lot of anxiety, or not quite anxiety. They are not quite sure whether it fits, their professional skills fit into this environment or not. So, just letting them know that they are doing well, they are okay, can help give them a bit of hope.
Okay, we're going to go for traffic, and there's a comment on Facebook that I'd like you to address, and that will be our last talk set on air, Dr. Jerry.
Okay.
Kiss 92 traffic.
PIE towards Tuas, there's a vehicle breakdown before Jalan Bahar. AYE towards MCE, there's an accident after Portsdown Avenue exit. Please avoid lanes 1 and 3. PIE towards Changi Airport, there's an accident at Bukit Batok Road entrance. Please continue to drive safe.
Did you say Bahar?
Bahar.
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 Bahar. Okay. Anyway, you're listening to The Big Show with Angel, Daphne, and Sean Rick. And Dr. Jerry, we have one comment on our Facebook by Ashley. And it's not, I suppose we don't want it to come off as xenophobia, but it is something that we've heard a lot of. We've heard quite a few accounts of expatriates feeling entitled and being pushy, hence locals shouting back things like, "Go back to your country." Can Dr. Jerry comment on something like this? And perhaps what we should do to not even feel that we have to say something like that?
Okay, so I'm assuming that it is in response to a behavior that someone did, right? Yeah, so how much do we know about the other person's culture? We don't. We honestly don't. We have never known the person. The person really is a stranger. We don't know, we can't say we know each and every culture. So even for us, every family have their own culture, right? So it doesn't mean that you know everybody. So can we interpret someone's behavior? No. If it is affecting you, then we deal with it, or we address it on the spot, because it affects us. And not because, I think it's unfair, or, it is a global sort of comment, because it is not. There are lots of people that are really, really nice. And one behavior, one person doesn't mean that it represents the whole population.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah,
And I think one of the other parts is also our fear, and we need to check in with what our fears are. Is it towards the culture? Is it towards things that are unfamiliar? And sometimes fear makes us do a lot of strange things also. That's why we want to talk about many different topics and help us prep, help us understand that, we're not very, very different also.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Jerry. We have to welcome our next guest in, and our time always flies with you. Do you have any
Yes.
final words?
Yes. So today I have a Jerry's original, and I
awesome.
would like to say the color of blood is the same all across the wall, even if the color of the skin is different.
Oh, I love that. Thank you, Dr. Jerry, and thanks for joining us this morning. We'll see you
No
next
worries, glad to
week.
be here. Take care, everyone.
Have a
Bye.
great week.
Thank you for today.
Bye-bye. Our next guest is our senior transport correspondent from the Straits Times, Nian Tjoe, and we're going to be talking about traveling with your pets in vehicles, in public vehicles. The date today is Tuesday, the 18th of April.
Kiss 92 Day Check by Gain City. Gain City's 42nd anniversary.
You can see it looks very different this morning.
Do you need me to adjust?
You're like, who? Oh, you can't hear. Wait. He's, oh, you can hear. Huh? Everyone,
It sounds different. Hello? Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
this
but
sound-
we met before. Yeah,
Yeah,
last
you've
week,
met,
but
yeah.
then
I'm
Sean
not,
Rick.
I'm not the flying Dutchman. I'm the floating Chinese boy.
This is Sean Rick. This is Nian Tjoe. Okay.
Hi, Sean. Nice to meet you.
So today, can you bring your mic closer to you? Yeah. So today we are talking about traveling with your pets in on public transport.
No, just getting
Getting your
around
pets
in pets.
around
Yeah.
with okay.
Yeah, because
Okay.
public transport you can't actually bring a pet.
You can't. Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about like buses and trains? Not at all. Even
Yeah.
a cat, a little cat in a little
No.
box. No.
Even in the
By
carrier,
right,
no?
cannot.
Oh,
Really?
But by
Okay.
left, people do it.
I was told
that left,
Oh,
right,
yeah.
up, down, diagonal. all have
Hamsters?
right.
pockets.
Pockets.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so there wasn't really a piece of news that triggered this, but it was just a conversation recently, just thinking about there are more people with pets
Yeah.
than
Yeah.
before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People need to get around. So
Right.
I'm not saying that pets should be entitled or not, but how do we as a society interact with this need?
And not
Fair enough.
everyone drives.
Not everyone drives.
Yep.
Even to drive, then we're back to the old topic of cars being expensive.
Yeah. yeah.
You know, that we're trying to
It's a chicken and
avoid.
egg
No,
thing.
but
yeah.
even so, I have a dog, and then even if and I drive, I have a car, which I'm very grateful for. But because before I had a car in Singapore, it was really tough to get around. Like every Grab I'd order, I'd have to call them beforehand and be like, "I have a dog. She's in a bag. She won't come out. Is that okay with you?" And a lot of them will just hang up and cancel my order.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, and I think that's why Grab has like Grab Pets
Grab
now,
Pet,
but
yes.
it's expensive.
It is.
And you know, you could just chance that your Grab driver might be okay with your pet.
How much more expensive is it, and why is it more expensive?
If I'm not wrong, I believe the Grab Pet is like $14 surcharge or something.
Yeah.
Oh,
there's
so it's an extra $14.
double-digit
So
surcharge.
why the disparity in charges? I mean, shouldn't it just be if you choose to allow a dog or a cat in
Yeah.
your car, then it's just you choose to. You know, you're not afraid of the pets.
But I guess if you can get the surcharge, they take
Yeah,
yeah,
but-
if they open
But what if you
themselves
need to
up to
transport a
either.
horse?
yeah,
Then you
Horses
need
are
a
a whole
carriage.
different story.
Can I just sit on the right the horse
Yeah.
and then go to
That's
your
a lot.
lorry.
Uncle, then-
Oh, you ride the horse.
Right,
That's
the horse. The horse
right,
is your
the
grab one.
horse.
It comes grab horse.
oh my god.
But so in the straw poll, just there's a fancy word for chatting in a kopitiam, right?
Okay.
Straw poll. I like
so,
that.
So anecdotally, I think, and actually even when I was doing a bit of research on
Yeah.
on the position for the public transport operators, it's concern about the of everyone else, whether
Yeah.
it's for just
safety,
or
Allergies.
allergies,
Religion.
and religion.
Yep.
So, but my question is, I don't have a pet,
Yeah.
right? So no skin in this game. But I'm just thinking, if we are be bringing pets, I guess as pet owners, you also demonstrate a certain empathy, a certain care.
towards others.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah.
If to answer your question or an idea that comes to mind about why are drivers or service providers saying that you need to charge more,
Yeah.
is that what if your pet comes and he messes up my vehicle and
Yeah.
I'm done
Then
for
the
the day?
owner needs to clean up.
Yeah,
The
but
owner of the pet,
But-
not the car.
in any case, there's going to be a delay, right? I mean,
Yes,
that's
yeah.
of course.
Yes.
So
And that's your time and your money.
if on both sides of the equation, if the service provider says, okay, these pet owners, they're good people, they always come in a carrier, or
Yeah.
they have
They're
they
responsible.
have the sheets and whatever to take care of the pets, because,
Right.
you know, then maybe there's a better chance that
But isn't that what the rating your riders are for? Like rating your passengers?
I'm not sure the rating for riders include pet handling.
Did you just say grading your passengers?
Can
you grade your
they
passengers?
rate us.
Yeah.
They rate us too.
Oh, do
Yeah.
they
It
really?
goes,
Yeah,
it goes both ways.
I had no way.
Yes.
Oh, so when I step out of a car, I should say, give me
Thank you,
5 stars
uncle.
as
Yeah.
well?
You can also, you can.
I
It
did
goes
not
both
know.
ways.
That was
yeah.
a 5-star
You can check
exit.
your.
Yes.
Oh no, you never bring your phone. So
No,
yeah, you can.
I'm phoneless this morning.
I know.
Believe
Let's
it or not.
definitely
right?
talk about that later. But I'm still
So
amazed.
you can
But,
actually check either
check
way.
your rating.
But on that note, also with Grab Pets, so one example is I have now become an owner of two cats.
Okay.
And I'm gonna take them out for grooming, and I'm planning to get a grab and bring them to the place. So I don't know the entire process of this. Like, learning about this is perfect.
Yeah.
So with the surcharge, and off the top of my head, what I'm agreeing with you is this: that there's a surcharge there for opportunity
Cleaning up,
costs and all that.
opportunity, yeah. Okay, we'll go for traffic. We still have like 30 seconds. Plenty of time, Shalini. What are you talking about?
She prep us in case we don't see.
Yeah. Okay, we'll
But
talk
yeah.
about that on air.
Yeah.
I have
your
something
traffic.
to say, yeah, for sure.
The traffic.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
Oh, $8 surcharge on Grab. It says here.
Oh,
in
maybe
the thing.
when it was
It's-
beta, it used
Is
to
it
be
14?
It was 14.
It's
yeah.
14.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's still a lot, though.
that
a
is a
lot.
lot.
It's $14 there. Wow.
Yeah.
Some rides are not even $14.
Yeah.
What happens if the driver's allergic?
Okay.
Kiss 92 traffic.
Accident on Jalan Boon Lay near Jalan Boon Lay, Jurong West Central 1 Junction. Please drive safe.
Good morning. You're on the big show with Angel, Daphne, and Shanrik, and we have Nian Tjoe, our second guest for today. He is, of course, a senior transport correspondent from the Straits Times. And today we're talking about getting around with your pets here in Singapore. This is assuming you don't have your own car, right? Because there was a statistic that there are 84,000 licensed dogs as of the first half of last year. And here are some facts that we already know. Pets are not allowed on public transport, not guide dogs for the visually handicapped. They are excused, right?
Yes.
Some car sharing services do allow, but usually require pets to be kept in carriers. Pets on taxis are allowed, but required to be caged or muzzled. Does this work for cats as well? Cats
Can
caged,
you
I
muzzle
suppose.
a
Can you
cat?
muzzle a cat, though?
No, but cats caged, I
Oh,
suppose.
yeah,
You
yeah,
cannot
yeah.
control a cat.
No.
This is true. I completely understand this by now.
And then pets on private hire, Grab Pets charge $14 extra. Others like Gojek, no surcharge, but you have to ask the driver for permission prior to. Right, so you book them and then you ask them and then they cancel on you. Is that the situation
That's
usually?
my experience, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we've been told that what happens if the driver says no, then the service will try to match the next driver and the next driver. I think the bottom line is it is less convenient to get around with a pet.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
But that's either way. Either way, I was living in LA, very pet-friendly
Yeah.
city, and it's still, the hassle of bringing your pet out, and then whether it's allowed in specific malls or wherever
Yeah.
you're going, like you have to plan all of that in advance.
Even in Europe as well, you see dogs in like luxury, Dolce & Gabbana stores and stuff like that. You see the pets with their owners go into these stores. So, but here we're talking about literally just getting your dog from A to B if you don't have a car.
Right, yeah, right.
But this is something
sounds
to think-
difficult.
Yeah, it is a pain, and also not just transporting, but then it's like if you want to bring them out to a specific place, that's the only place you can probably bring them, then you have to go back home. That's what I'm saying. Like if you want to plan your day, even if let's say I want to go somewhere else after this,
You can't.
I can't.
You can't
Yeah,
do a
you
detour. You
can't.
can't go like point A2.
And I
And
hear
so-
like restaurants need to have licenses
Yes.
to have dogs even outside. Only outside, right? You're not
And you
even
can
allowed
only-
to
Yeah.
only
Yeah.
outside. They need to have a license. So even like outdoor cafes and all that, you can't just sit outdoors with your dog
You have to call the place beforehand, right?
Yeah.
If I'm not
to find
wrong.
out if they have a license. Yeah.
Yeah, then there are those, if you think about it, you flip it around, the establishments that are pro-pets,
Yeah.
friendly to pets, and, it's good for them.
It's good. Yeah.
It
Yeah,
is, yeah.
that is
Yeah,
true.
But
That-
the other motivation of thinking about this subject is really both sides of the coin.
Yeah.
Right? Whether you are the service provider, whether you're a restaurant owner, you're the one who's driving the vehicle,
Right.
as well as for pet owners. So I'm just thinking if pet owners can also establish a certain reputation, right? I'm always taking care of my pet, just as parents. I don't have a pet, but I have 2 kids, which is kind of like pets.
Wow. That is the first time I've ever heard a parent
No,
say
the other
that.
way,
it's
right?
okay. He's allowed. He's allowed.
So, and I care for them very much.
He's allowed to wake up one day and say, "I don't really like them so much today as well." If you want to.
Sometimes we feel that way about our pets too.
Exactly.
Right, yeah, but it's also the branding as a pet owner or as parents. How do you take care of the person or the animal with you.
Yeah.
Well, it's always that one bad
I was
apple
just
that
gonna
makes
say-
everybody's reputation worse, right?
Reputation takes a while to build up, I guess.
Like you were saying, this surcharge for grab pets and cars and all that, I don't think is necessary because humans can very well make a car filthy as well. There are people that go back at night
Absolutely.
drunk.
Yeah.
You know, they
Oh.
throw
Yes.
up. They, you know, and who's responsible for that? The grab car is the one that cleans up, not the person that throws
But
up.
they have to pay like $100 over surcharge.
Yeah, there's no $8
Yeah.
surcharge.
Oh,
on
do you
that. It's
mean-
more than
Yeah,
that.
if you,
You have to
throw up in
compensate
a
them.
vehicle, you have there is a clause in
really?
there's
the,
a
Yeah, you
cost.
can
There's a
just-
cost.
I
Do
have
you
no-
use Grab? Not.
I do, but clearly I don't
Don't
throw
get
up, so I
drunk,
don't
yeah.
even need to know these clauses. Okay, let's continue the conversation with Nian Tjoe on The Big Show TV. It's youtube.com/Kiss92FM.
I feel like falling in love. I'm in the mood to roll some.
Same thing.
Yeah, it's a, you.
Is that new?
Yeah.
Really?
No.
No, I don't know if it's
Okay, I
a
don't
law
think
thing,
it's-
but
So
like,
then why don't they do that for pets? If the pet dirties your car,
I'm sure you have
then
to.
you pay.
But-
you know what I mean? Not the $14
But I'm thinking
surcharge.
that if it was throwing up, it's quite obvious what comes out.
Yeah,
If it's your pet shedding a little bit of,
fur and
Fur.
stuff. So it's
Oh, it's
quite
just the
arguable. Right?
inconvenience.
Where's the line
Yeah.
drawn?
Yeah.
Where's the line drawn? You're right. You're right.
But
yeah.
if the pet throws up, is it also $100? That's the question.
or is it just
or
that $14
is it
surcharge?
prorated to the amount of
Oh, gross.
It's
What
like
I'm-
200 grams, $40.
Yeah,
Ew.
what I think,
moist.
Yeah. Moist versus dry.
which is more inconvenient. What I think might actually help, right, is if these car sharing companies actually allow us, like as passengers, to add on our profile, "Hey, I have a pet." You know what I mean? Because if we're allowed to add like a little icon that's like,
Yeah,
"Hey, I have a
no, I
dog,"
think that's
so
a
then you
great
can
idea.
quickly say like, "Yes, I will take," or "Don't want to take."
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Instead
yeah.
of having to call the fella. And
But when
Makes
you're
sense.
when you're booking, can't you just input note to driver? You
Cannot.
can though. Of
no,
course
you
can.
have to accept. The driver has to accept the right first
Then you
before
have to
you
do
do
Oh,
it.
you should be able to at least put an input in saying,
Yeah.
"I have a dog," straight off.
Yeah,
or even
yeah.
just
Straight
change your little icon to
To
like
a
add a
dog.
dog, you know, and be
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
"Okay, I have a dog riding with me today."
Oh
you
no,
know
your
what I mean?
your name will be "I'm
Like-
with a dog."
Oh.
You know, something
Ooh,
like that.
that's smart, actually.
Sean who I'm with 2 cats.
Yeah,
Yeah.
something like that. But I think that's a great idea. At least preempt the drivers so that time isn't wasted.
Yep.
Yep.
You know, they don't lose out on other bookings as well, and our time is not wasted as well.
Yeah, and I think that that's so much more like efficient.
Yeah.
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 But what's really interesting is that with this whole topic of transporting your pets from point A to point B, or however your direction is for the day, the fact is there. Like what we said, that there are more pet owners happening,
Yeah.
more coming out, and with that, there's a lot more spotlight put
Yeah.
onto this situation. So
Yes.
more and more people will know this. Okay, there's a rising trend, a rising tide of pet owners. There has to
We
be
need
some
to
kind
meet
of
this,
address
the
on a bigger
demand.
scale
Yeah.
Yeah.
to address that demand, and which is good.
Yeah, I assume it's also attractive for on the business side to see the
Yeah, it gives
opportunities, right?
one more thing to have the customers know, like, hey, you know what? We understand your concern. We have a something to address
a
that.
service for that.
Yeah, a service for that.
Someone should just start a private hire pet
There
transport
are.
thing. No,
Yeah.
there
There are,
are,
there are,
but like
yeah.
a taxi type thing.
There
You
are,
know?
but yeah, just not that.
A lot of them are
many.
like what vans, you know, that
Yes.
take your
Yes.
pets to grooming, but like a car. So it's because of the growing need for this.
Yeah.
Just
For
have
all we
like
know,
a grab.
someone is
It's
coding
working on it right
now.
It's a new one. It's a
Yeah.
whole spin-off. It's Paw Patrol.
Paw Patrol.
Cannot copyright
no,
infringement.
Petrol.
Oh, petrol.
Pet roll.
Yes.
Pet
Petrol.
We're getting a lot of messages
Marketing.
on our Facebook.
Yeah, we are,
Actually,
yeah.
So Victor is saying majority of pet owners of the pet owners I know are always socially responsible and don't want to be a bad example in public.
Right.
In the hopes of having Singapore be more socially acceptable for our pets in public.
Yes,
And-
I like that.
and we do see a
Agree.
lot more cafes and stuff like opening their outsides to pets and I'm finding that too because I'm having to call them now to
Yeah.
make sure. And I did find that a lot more Grab drivers. I mean, if it's a no, it's usually pretty hard no. Like they already know they don't want to have the pet.
Yeah.
But I think having the added pet, like Grab pet, like dissuades them from just being good to take us or with pets. They'll be like, no, book Grab pet, that kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Which-
It's a bit like back to children again.
It's okay, but we do call them fur kids as well, so it's fine.
Exactly. Yeah. Porins is my.
Yeah,
I tried on
porins.
somebody who didn't like it, but okay. So I think that also, if you use the children parallel, is that by age, then either the parents bring the extra seat,
The booster seat.
or the equivalent, or on the other side, the driver has
to
this,
provide. Yeah, what is the stand on that? I mean, do Grab drivers have them? When I say Grab, I mean everyone, like Gojek, Grab, everybody.
Is it
do
a
they have
requirement?
do they have booster seats in their cars?
Not all of them.
Are they meant to?
They have to if you want to put a kid in it.
Kid.
But then,
But
like,
then how
that's
will
the
you
same
know
thing as a
until
pet,
you-
right?
Yeah, how will you know until that's even worse because then the car
No,
rolls
you have
up
to
and you're
put in
like,
the request that you have a child.
So also
so
after
also-
you book.
No, when you're booking, you already have that. You know, you look at your choices, then you tick.
Oh, are there choices? Well, I don't have my phone, so
well,
I can't.
again.
I can't do
Wait,
anything.
let me check. I know there's a new.
So then why isn't the pet option here as well?
I think because they want you to just use
book Grab Pets.
Pet.
You know what I mean?
And the surcharge is not $14.
But there are,
Yeah.
I'm
It's
sure.
$1, I think, for a booster.
It's- do-
It's $1.
you have to pay for the seat. Why?
Oh, you know what?
the
You are
company
right. There is now like pickup notes for driver before you match. with
Before you
them.
match, right? So that's why,
okay.
like you would put that in. So okay, why do you have to have a surcharge for the booster seat though? I mean, isn't this
Because they
something
have to buy it, I guess.
They
the driver
actually-
buys it?
They break it down though. They say for at least with Grab, what I'm looking at is like it covers 1 pet seat cover and 2 seats like human seats.
Yeah.
Or there are 2 pet seat covers and 3 seats. So like it depends.
How much is the pet seat cover?
Like I don't know how much the pet seat cover is.
it doesn't say,
but
right?
like-
Okay.
but
There's
like
a
this,
lot
the
more
price.
options than I.
Oh,
So-
right. Okay,
so-
look at all of you looking at
So
your
there's
phones.
like
I'm so
there's-
jealous.
There's an
It's like, where's my phone?
there's an XL. What's really interesting also, like one thing that I think we didn't cover also is
Yeah.
with transporting pets.
Yeah.
It's also the amount of pets. How many,
Yes.
like whether it's 1 pet, 2 pet, 3
You
pets.
can imagine if you're like a dog walker that wants to go to Botanic Gardens
Yeah,
from
yeah.
like Pasir Ris
Yeah.
or something, and you need to transport like 10
Right?
dogs.
Yeah.
So I got 2 cats and knowing that there's a service out there that actually has like an XL service, a
Yeah.
multiple pet service.
Yep.
That's also quite interesting. And but still the surcharge is woo.
It's
The
a lot,
surcharge-
right?
You know the surcharge I agree with though, and I'm gonna get a lot of flack for this. But I don't care.
Okay, wait.
It's
Oh, you want to carry on?
is Grab car for cyclists.
Okay, hang on. Let's
That's
It's the Big Show. Good morning. You're with Angel, Daphne, and Sean Rick, as well as Nian Tjoe. We are talking about transporting our pets, and we just went on to the topic of how much a surcharge it is and how many options there are also on the platforms right now to opt for, say, booster seats and an addition of a dog, an addition of 2 cats, 2 children. Are children included in that?
Yes, there's a whole section for
children,
kid
that's-
friendly.
yeah, that's Grab
Yeah.
family.
Because kids can be a ruckus more so than a pet. I mean, a pet can sit quietly next
You
to
can
you.
choose the number of
You can
children.
You choose the number of children. You can choose the age range of the children.
Can you put like noisy
threshold?
bouncing child? No.
Yes, I think you can.
Pain
Age
threshold.
Threshold for the driver.
No, noise levels.
Noise level. Well, all the options are. By the time you choose, you can walk there already.
Because I mean, there are some kids that will be very, very misbehaved. You know, kids that jump around in cars. We've seen them, not strapped in,
Yeah.
not on their booster seats. It's
Yeah.
against the law, right?
Yes.
If they're not in booster seats.
You can't be a
It is-
bouncy castle inside the
No.
car. You cannot.
That
So-
would definitely be illegal. Yeah.
Who's responsible if a child who needs a booster seat in, say, a taxi or a Grab is not in a booster seat?
Well, firstly, it only applies to the private hire cars.
Okay.
Oh, so
okay.
if it's a
Taxis
private
exempted.
car, like it doesn't
no,
matter.
private
No
cars,
cars.
You have to have.
Oh no,
You
as
have
in
to
like my own car.
you
and
have
my
to
kid
have.
is.
You have to have.
So
You have
it's
to have.
illegal for me not to have a booster
Yeah.
seat for
Yes.
my
They
kid.
They
If
have to
it's
be
of
a
the
certain
height,
height.
yes.
Yeah, they have to be a certain height to
Okay,
be
so
able to
that's
kid
a
or the
requirement.
seat?
Huh?
Oh, the seat. Sorry.
The kid,
No, the kid, the
not
kid.
the seat. The
Oh, the
kid
seat,
has to
the-
be.
So below a certain height, the kid needs to be in a booster seat. Otherwise,
Yeah.
the seatbelt doesn't
Oh,
protect them correctly,
you're
right?
You're right.
So,
Sorry,
Exactly.
got
but
brain
taxis
fart.
don't need it.
No need.
Okay. So who's responsible in a private hire? Is the driver?
So think about it. It's no different the way private hires, in terms of legislation on the safety point, it's the same as your private car.
Okay.
So what happens? This is another pet peeve.
Yeah.
Wow.
Love what you
like
did there.
So, thanks. So for me, I think as a driver, do you know that as a driver, private car, and if you have other drivers that are on board, and if they don't belt up, everybody gets penalized.
Yes, because they're supposed to know the rules, right?
Right. Yeah.
So coming to answer this about having kids in a private hire car and they're not strapped up, the driver he's pressured if you don't belt up.
He will get
He's in
fined.
trouble.
As in the driver that's also the passenger. A passenger
As well
that's
as
a
the
driver.
driver that you engage.
Right.
Yeah, so the
Okay,
responsibility
I
is on
see.
the driver to ensure that everybody on board is as safe as you should be.
It's kind of like in NS, if one person in the section kena, the
Yes,
whole
this
group
is
kena.
solidarity.
Right?
But I mean, to be honest, how many times do we put our seatbelts on in our grabs?
Hey, always.
Yeah,
always.
always, yeah.
Only if there's no seatbelts, then I will.
There are
report.
no seatbelts.
I do
No,
my
there are
best to
some.
stretch all the way through my
Yeah,
body.
hold it there.
but kids and all that. I mean, you see a lot of people don't have seatbelts in the back seat. Front seat, I get it, but back seat, even the drivers and taxi drivers actually have to do it as well, right?
have to.
For seatbelts,
Yep.
they don't tell you to
Oh,
insist.
The occurrence rate of this, in my experience, is kind of low. Like maybe if I take 10 rides, 2 out of 10 will
We'll
say,
say,
please remember
please
to
belt
to
up.
belt
You're
up,
absolutely
yeah.
right.
They are telling you because you never belt up, right?
Yes, that's exactly why.
Because if you belt up already, they don't have
see,
to remind you, right?
I'm running an experiment, see how many can tell me enough.
Oh, sure.
It's a social experiment. Okay, any final words, Nian Tjoe, before we wrap up?
Well, I think I'm still of the opinion, because I'm not changed on that, is that while we see on the comments that pet owners are a responsible group, majority are, I think there should be maybe it is you need a collective effort to
Right.
get that branding out,
Yes,
right? The
yes.
position that, look, I'm bringing my pets around, it's a need or a want, but I'm doing my best to take care of them. That it doesn't also get into the lives of whether the drivers or the restaurant owners.
Yeah.
Right? It takes a while. I mean, come on, we're talking about seat belts, belting up in the back. It's been around for more than 20 years.
It has.
Anyone
it
wants to
has.
do campaign, I've got a dog. I'm
Got
available.
2 cats.
Yeah,
Cover
well,
it.
There you go.
I
There
have
you
2
go.
children.
okay. Full
Speaking of which,
campaign here.
full campaign. And speaking of which, Matthew has a great idea for noisy children. Let's
I
just
saw
put them in
that.
the boot. And on that note, thank you so much, Nian
Thank you.
Tjoe, our senior transport correspondent from the Straits Times, here every Tuesday starting at about 8:30. You're listening to The Big Show. Coming up, headline news and sports.